Hi, I just want to see if I can show you how we set up really simple collage work for your children to do. Most of our children have had this presentation, they'll be familiar with it already, but I wanted to walk you through it just to see, show you a couple ways that you can make this at home, make it available to your child so that they can select it at any time and work on it anytime they wish. So bear with me. Let me see if I can show you how we set this up. And if I'm missing anything, then your child can probably fill in the blanks. All right, so this is collage. It's always available on the art shelf. Children can choose it anytime they've had the presentation. This is what the tray looks like. It has a table mat that's secured by, this is just a napkin ring. The table mat protects the table. And generally we have a small apron available for the children to wear as well to protect their clothes. I'm not going to put one on right now, but if you would like to do that in your home, you can. So the table mat protects the table. I have a small jar of glue. This is just Elmer's glue, but I've put it in a small recycled jar that just sort of limits the amount that you use, and it's easy for the child to handle themselves. It's just Elmer's glue, a little bit of Elmer's glue in there. I have a small brush. This is just a leftover brush from a watercolor paint set that ran out of color. I have two small jars here. This one is the washing jar for washing your brush, and this one is the rinsing jar for rinsing your brush. And these are just recycled yogurt cups. These are from my favorite yogurt that comes in these little glass cups. The children know these. And I just recycle those. They're really handy for little for art jars. Let's see, also we have a cleanup sponge. So I will tell the children when they're doing this work to fill this wash jar up to about halfway with water. So I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. Lickety split. To carry it carefully when it's got water in it so the water doesn't spill. Now I'm going to fill up the rinsing jar halfway as well. I'll be right back. There's our rinsing jar. And this is just a kitchen sponge. I've cut it into quarters so it's a small enough sponge for the children to be able to handle on their own, and it fits neatly with all the rest of our tools. So this one, sometimes these dry out overnight and we have to wet them, but this sponge is already moist, so it's fine. Now we're ready for the paper. This is the paper that I use. It's actually a little bit of cardboard left over from Mr. Anderson's shirts, his dry cleaning shirts. They slip a little cardboard paper in there, and I recycle these, cut them in quarters. It's a perfect little size for a little collage. So there's our paper. And now for the collage materials, we keep this in the classroom, this little cabinet. It's the collage cabinet, and anytime someone's cutting paper or punching out shapes, if they have leftover paper, you can throw the paper away, you can recycle it, or you can put it in the collage drawers. So there are all kinds of different things in here. There's some sparkly paper. Take a couple of those out. You never know what you're going to find. Sometimes there's a microcrystal feather. But you might be able to set something up like this in your own home. And sometimes there are some nice surprises in there when you're taking out your collage work. So I think I'm going to start with these little pieces of sparkling green paper and the feather. And this is how I just gently dip and put a little bit of glue on the paper. Now my brush goes in the wash. Take off the drips, rinse, take off the drips. This keeps the bristles of the brush from drying out. The glue can really dry them out. Now I can press the paper down, just like that. All right, now let me see if I can do that with this little feather. Take a little glue, just a dab, put a little on, put some on the paper, wash, take off the drips, rinse, take off the drips, now I usually, when I'm presenting this work, I just do a few and then I offer it to the children to do, because it's really, art is really thought of as an area of self-expression for the children, so I don't really want to show them what my idea is. I really want to encourage them to have their own ideas, their own kind of collage that they want to come up with, and generally they come up with things that are much better than I could ever think of. So I'm just going to let this dry, and while I let it dry, I'm going to show you how we clean up, because cleanup is really an important part of the process. You make a decision, you choose your work, you complete the work, and then you clean it up. So never want to put something away that isn't beautifully clean and ready for the next person or for yourself the next time you choose it. So I just want to make sure that my brush is nice and clean. Wash and rinse one last time. Close the glue. Everyone knows that if we don't close up the glue, it can dry out and we won't be able to use it. I'm going to carefully take this to the sink, spill it in the sink. Carefully take the rinsing water to the sink, spill it in the sink. I'll put this on a special drying rack. We have at school, we have a special drying rack. You could find a place at your home, maybe just a shelf that has newspaper on it to let your work dry. If I have any leftover papers, I'll put them back in the collage drawer. Now I take my sponge for cleanup. I didn't really spill any glue that time, so the sponge is pretty clean. I don't need to rinse it again, but sometimes if I do get glue on the sponge, I'll take it to the sink, wash it and squeeze it before I put it back on the tray. Now, I can roll up my table mat. Put the napkin ring back on. And that's it. That's collage. So I hope you can set this up in your own home. It's a really nice open-ended activity for children to take out, and I've seen some really amazing collages be put together here. So have the materials available and then just watch their imagination run wild. Thanks. Good luck. Have fun.